This is a special report from True Crime Today and the Hidden Killers podcast.
I'm Tony Bruschi. Thanks for joining us. In a story that has captivated audience since 2005, the primary suspect linked to the unsolved case of Natalee Holloway, a U.S. student who mysteriously vanished while on a trip to the Caribbean island of Aruba, is now being extradited back to the United States. Joran van der Sloot, a Dutch national who was the last person seen with Holloway, has now been turned over to U.S. authorities and is being extradited as we record this at this exact moment. This major development comes after a Peruvian judge validated the government's decision to temporarily transfer custody to U.S. law enforcement, bringing closure to a case that's held global attention for nearly 2 decades. Let's take you back to that fateful summer of 2005, when Natalee Holloway, an 18-year-old from suburban Birmingham, Alabama, set off on a trip with her classmates to Aruba. Holloway's abrupt disappearance after a night out at a local bar, where she was last seen with van der Sloot, sparked a large-scale search and triggered an international media frenzy. Despite substantial efforts, Holloway's body was never found. No charges were ever filed directly connecting van der Sloot to her disappearance. Fast forward into 2010, van der Sloot indicted on counts of extortion and wire fraud in Alabama, marking the first time he had been formally tied to Holloway's case. The charges stem from allegations that van der Sloot attempted to manipulate Holloway's grieving family by promising to reveal the location of their daughter's body in return for hundreds of thousands of dollars. This charade added a chilling new layer to a case already shrouded in mystery and anguish. As van der Sloot's tangled web of deceit unraveled, he was also tied to his second case halfway across the globe in Peru. In 2012, he was found guilty of murdering 21-year-old Stephanie Flores, a business student from a respected Peruvian family. And in a cruel twist of fate, Flores' death occurred exactly 5 years to the day of Holloway's disappearance. Van der Sloot was sentenced to 28 years in a maximum security prison in the Andes for his heinous crime. Following the decision to extradite, van der Sloot was recently moved from his Andine prison to a detention facility in Lima, Peru's capital. From there, he's now being transported to the United States. The timeline for his first court appearance on U.S. soil remains uncertain at this moment. The extradition is a significant step forward, made possible by a 2001 treaty between Peru and the U.S., allowing for temporary extradition to face trial in the requesting country. Although van der Sloot's attorney, Maximo Oltes, initially suggested that his client would not challenge the extradition, the last-minute habeas corpus petition was filed on Monday. However, the appeal was promptly overruled by a judge. It's worth noting that van der Sloot's time in the U.S. will extend until the conclusion of the criminal proceedings, including any potential appeals. The resolution in Peru's Federal Register also asserts that U.S. authorities have agreed to return van der Sloot to Peruvian custody upon completion of his trial in the U.S. That's the latest that we know on this story. We'll continue to cover this and bring you any breaking updates as they happen. I'm Tony Bruschi. Thanks for joining us.
This has been a special report from True Crime Today and the Hidden Killers podcast.